I'm Katie Birkwood, I'm the Rare Books librarian at the Royal College of Physicians, London. Today we're digitising one of the treasures from the Royal College of Physicians library. It's a book printed by William Caxton called The Recueil of the Histories of Troy, and it was printed in or around the year 1473. This book is really important in the history of printing and in the history of the English language because it's the first book ever printed in the English language. It was made in Bruges or maybe in Ghent in the Low Countries by Caxton, and it was his own translation of a text. And like I say, it was the first time that English had ever been used in a printed book. The book is the story of the Trojan Wars, so it's the account of the fall of the city of Troy with all of the mythological history behind that. So it's an ancient Greek myth, an ancient Greek history, but it was very popular as a literary text at the time, and Caxton made a translation from French, from a man called Raoul Lefebvre, into English, so that it could be enjoyed by a new audience. It might be a surprise that the Royal College of Physicians, a medical institution, has a literary book in its collections, and indeed that a book of literature would be such a treasure to us. It ended up here because our library collections were all gifts and donations from various fellows and members of the college over the 500 years of our history. Although the book's over 500 years old, it's still in remarkably good condition. Sadly, we have lost 2 of the pages right from the start of it, but considering what a long life it's had, that's pretty good. There are quite a few marks and scribbles that have been left in it over the ages, and today I would say you mustn't write in your library books. But for us, these marks are really useful because they tell us about who owned the book in the past. As one of the treasures of the library, we have to be really careful with the book. It's old, and old paper and old bindings can be very fragile, so we keep it under close security and in temperature and humidity controlled conditions to make sure we can preserve it for future generations.
My name is Catt Thompson-Baum and I am an accredited conservation manager. I work for Wiley as the conservation consultant and as project manager. The main conservation challenges for large digitisation projects are really just the volume of material, so going through each page of each item and checking the condition to make sure they're in good enough condition to scan, and then doing any repairs necessary. With something like a rare book like the Caxton, it's really just, again, taking it page by page and making sure that it's going to stand up to the extra handling that scanning involves.
My name's Neil Bowker and I'm the director at Microform Imaging Limited. The scanner we use is a Metis Gamma, and it's utilising a Canon 5DS camera. Back at Microform we use many different types of machines to digitise different books, but for this particular machine what we like about it is it's portable, so we can pretty much take it anywhere. It takes a beautiful image, and the software that comes with it means that we can pretty much work with the book on the go, and by the time we've finished, the quality of the image and what the customer wants is pretty much done on site. This machine will do around about 1,000 shots an hour, depending on the material that you're working with. With the book that we're working with today, it's not so much how quickly, it's about taking care with the book and making sure that the shots are done without damaging the volume.
There's a misconception that old paper it might be in worse condition, and actually in many ways that's usually not the case, because paper at this stage of history was made from pure cotton rags and so is incredibly good quality. The paper of the Caxton is actually quite a thick, heavyweight paper and has stood up really well to the test of time. You find that once paper gets into mechanical manufacturing and they start using cheaper materials with more degradable products in it in the sort of mid-19th century, that's when paper starts to be in much worse condition. But early paper like this is beautiful. The great white glove debate, which is always asked in these cases. The reason we don't wear gloves when handling paper products is because actually it reduces the sensitivity of your fingers, and you can in fact, when trying to turn pages, do much more damage to the paper than you would without gloves. So we wash our hands beforehand, make sure they're very clean, to avoid depositing residue from our hands as much as possible on the paper, but gloves are definitely important for photographic items and some other heritage items like metals, but it's not necessary for paper. It's just unfortunate people always ask about it because it's what they've seen on TV, and it's an expectation. And really, for conservators, we're trying to reset that expectation because it's not the best approach to handling paper. I don't get nervous handling rare books like this. I get excited because it's not often that you get to handle such amazing items. I mean, this book is 500 years old, and to think of where people were, standing when they printed it and what was happening in the world at that time, and that it's still with us today it's an honour, really.